Think for yourself, my brother shouted while my parents giggled. Think for yourself, my brother bellowed as my parents chuckled. We expect you'll come crawling back. After 7 months of desertion, they began to slink back into my life. My kin, who were supposed to shield me, abandoned me at a Wyoming gas station, leaving me to fend for myself. They laughed at their cruel jest, which forged my resilience. Their laughter faded as I drove away, never looking back. Not for 18 long years. I'm Mira, and that betrayal sculpted my destiny. The family that discarded me eventually found me, but I was no longer the same. Not just my outward appearance. My story reveals how abandonment led me to discover my true self. Let's dive in. The Reynolds clan taught me to toughen up early. My parents, Clara and Jorg, believed in hardening their children with pranks that felt more like emotional ambushes. My brothers, Lucas and Max, were eager accomplices. In our household, someone was always the scapegoat, usually me. Family albums hold memories of celebrations that doubled as humiliations. On my 12th birthday, they convinced me no one would show up, only to surprise me after I'd sobbed for hours. At my middle school graduation, they claimed they forgot the date and arrived late. My prom date was given the wrong address, and every incident ended with their mocking refrain. My mother's cruelty cut deeper, more subtly. In my teenage years, her comments about my appearance stung. "That outfit would suit you if you shed a few pounds," she'd say. "Your face could be lovely if you smiled more and cleared up your skin." My father, though, laughed loudest when Lucas or Max pulled their stunts. Lucas, 34, the eldest, was being groomed to take over Dad's insurance business. Max, 33, handled marketing. Both embraced our parents' warped notion that pain strengthened family bonds. Dinner conversations often revolved around their latest, hilarious prank on a colleague or friend. I graduated college with a graphic design degree 2 weeks before our ill-fated Colorado trip. Unspoken, I was expected to design marketing materials for the family business. While living in Chicago, I mentioned applying to creative agencies, but my parents dismissed it. "You can do your art projects for the company," Mom said at my graduation dinner. "It's far more secure than chasing dreams on your own." College left me with student loans, and my parents kept me tethered by covering my apartment rent, always reminding me they could withdraw their support if I wasn't grateful enough. The Colorado trip was meant to celebrate my graduation, a week in a rented cabin near Rocky Mountain National Park. From the moment we crammed into the family SUV, tension simmered. "Did you pack your common sense this time, Myra?" Max teased as I loaded my bags. "Remember when she forgot her swimsuit in Florida?" I was 16 when they refused to stop for a replacement, mocking me for sitting fully clothed on the beach for 3 days. The first day of driving followed the same pattern. Lucas hid my phone, smirking as I panicked, only to find it in his pocket. Dad took a wrong turn and blamed my navigation. These were small cruelties I'd grown accustomed to but never accepted. That night in a Nebraska motel, I overheard them through the thin walls. "She's too fragile," Mom said. "If she doesn't toughen up, the world will crush her." I went to bed with a sinking feeling, forcing myself to stay upbeat. Just 4 more days, I thought. Then I can focus on job applications and build my own life. We crossed into Wyoming by noon the next day, the mood oddly cheerful. In hindsight, I should have known it was the quiet before the storm. Their kindness always preceded a vicious prank. "We need gas," Dad announced as we neared Peeneridge, a small town with a lone convenience store surrounded by vast fields. "I'm hitting the restroom and grabbing snacks," I said as Dad filled the tank. "Anyone want anything?" Lucas whispered. "Get me a soda," while Max added, "Some jerky." Mom just waved me off, touching up her makeup. Inside, the store was quiet except for the cashier, a kind-eyed woman in her 40s named Sophie. "On a trip?" Sophie asked as she handed me my change. "Yeah, headed to Colorado for a vacation," I replied with a smile. "Safe travels," she said. It was my last moment of normalcy before everything shifted. I stepped into the parking lot, juggling snacks, and froze. The SUV was gone. I blinked, thinking I'd gotten disoriented, but the lot was empty. My family had vanished. Maybe Dad moved the car to the air pump, I thought, or they drove to that sandwich shop we passed. I dialed Dad, Mom, Lucas. Max picked up on the 4th ring. "Where are you guys?" I asked, voice shaking. Oh, we're a few miles down the road, he said, chuckling. What? I stammered, panic rising. Let's see if she can figure it out, Lucas shouted in the background, laughing. Max, this isn't funny. Tell Dad to come back. Check your texts, Max said before hanging up. Lucas had sent a photo of them in the car, grinning with the caption, Survival of the fittest, sis. Find your way home. I called again. Mom, voicemail, Dad, voicemail. Lucas, voicemail. The Wyoming sun beat down as reality sank in. They'd deliberately left me in a strange town, in a state where I knew no one, with only my purse and the clothes I was wearing. My wallet held $50, a debit card with a couple $100, and my ID. My suitcase, clothes, toiletries was in their SUV. My phone was at 18%. As hours passed, I sat on the curb outside the gas station, cycling through shock, fear, and fury. Then came a group chat photo of them at a restaurant, captioned, Wonder if Mira's found dinner yet. LOL. Sophie approached after her shift. Honey, you've been out here for 3 hours. Are you okay? Her kindness broke me. I sobbed, spilling the story. Your family left you here on purpose, she said, stunned. They think it's funny, I said, wiping tears. A lesson in resilience. They've done this before, but never this bad. Got anyone to call? She asked. My best friend had moved to California, and I had no one close enough to drive out. Night fell, the temperature dropped, and my phone was at 8%. I had one call left. My family had kept me isolated, discouraging close friendships and fostering dependence. Dad answered unexpectedly. Learned your lesson yet? He asked coldly. What lesson? I cried. That I can't trust my own family. Stop being dramatic. Think for yourself. Call us when you're back in Chicago. How, with no money or place to stay? I demanded. You're clever. Figure it out, he said, hanging up. Mom texted. Mira, this is for your own good. You need to grow up. My phone died. Sophie, outraged, offered help. My friend Isabella rents a room. Let me call her. Isabella, a silver-haired woman in her 60s, lived in a modest yellow house near Main Street. Her spare room was simple, a twin bed, dresser, small desk, but safe. Sophie told me what happened, Isabella said. Stay here tonight and we'll sort out tomorrow. She gave me a nightgown and toiletries, and I cried myself to sleep. I woke hoping for apologetic texts or calls. Nothing. I used Isabella's landline to call my parents. No answer. I tried the family business. The receptionist said Dad and my brothers were in a meeting and took a message. They never called back. I need to charge my phone and check my bank, I told Isabella over breakfast. I have to get back to Chicago. My phone revealed more of the same. Day 2 of Mira's great adventure, Lucas texted with a photo of them hiking in Colorado. Started hitchhiking yet? From Max. Worst was Dad, called your landlord. Rent's not paid while you sort this out. Mom added, this is tough love, honey. You'll thank us later. My bank account showed $250. Not enough for a bus ticket, let alone rent in Chicago. Isabella found me staring blankly at my phone. Bad news, she asked. They're not coming back, I whispered. They cut off my apartment. I'm homeless. You can stay here, Isabella said firmly. The room's $300 a month, but you can work at my bookstore to cover it until you're on your feet. That afternoon, she showed me pages and poems, her quaint bookstore with outdated signs and a clunky website. I need a real job too, I said, for food and savings. By evening, I'd landed a waitressing gig at Pinewood Diner, working breakfast and lunch shifts 6 days a week. My first week was grueling, with crying jags between shifts. I worked 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the diner, then helped Isabella at the bookstore until closing. I checked my phone nightly, but my family's texts grew sporadic, less remorseful. Still waiting for you to call and say you're home, Dad texted on day 5. By week 3, they stopped messaging. One day, my diner coworker Anya, a 27-year-old single mom, saw me crying in the break room. Family trouble? She asked. I told her everything. Mira, that's not pranks, she said. That's abuse. This is your chance to escape it. That night, I decided to stay in Pine Ridge, at least for now. I emailed my college professors for job references, created a new email my family didn't know, and researched replacing my ID documents, still in Chicago. You're a designer, right? Isabella asked one evening. The bookstore needs new flyers and social media help. I created a sleek flyer for an author event, thrilling Isabella. You should meet Theo, she said. He does web development for local businesses. Theo, a bearded 30-year-old tech freelancer, liked my portfolio. I could use a designer for client projects, he said. I'm hopeless at visuals. Ever thought about learning to code? It'd make you more marketable. For the first time since the abandonment, I felt hope, not just for survival, but for building something meaningful. My family expected me to crawl back. Instead, I was finding my place. Mom texted as my first month in Pine Ridge ended. This silence is childish. Call when you're mature, Mira. Pine Ridge's downtown spanned 4 blocks, with the diner at one end and the bookstore at the other. I blocked my family's numbers and focused forward. Working both jobs, I became a local fixture. People stopped asking if I was passing through and started greeting me by name. My first big project was revamping Isabella's bookstore website with Theo's help. We built a modern site with online ordering and event promotion. Business is up 15% since your posters, Isabella said. This will help even more. Theo was impressed too. You're a natural at UI design, he said during our 3rd coding session. You learn faster than most of my clients. Anya introduced me to her friends, locals who valued me for me, not as a punchline. By month 2, my Chicago landlord emailed about my belongings. I'd missed 3 months' rent, and they needed to clear the apartment. I can't afford to retrieve anything, I replied. Donate what's usable, discard the rest. It hurt, but it was freeing. My family's gifts always came with strings. This was my chance to break free. Theo connected me with a local business owner needing a logo and marketing materials, my first freelance client. The pay was modest, but the pride was immense. You could turn this into a real business, Theo said over coffee. Small businesses around here need design services and online presence. The idea took hold. By month 4, I had 3 freelance clients, still working at the diner and bookstore. I'd saved enough to rent a 350-square-foot studio above the hardware store on Main Street, my first space free of family approval. I bought a small succulent for the windowsill as a housewarming gift. This is your new life, I told myself. No looking back. That afternoon, an unknown Chicago number called. Myra, it's Lucas, my brother said. We're worried. This has gone on long enough. Worried, I snapped. You left me in another state with nothing. You cut off my apartment, that's not a joke. We thought you'd be back in a week, he said. When you didn't call, we figured you were being stubborn. I'm not coming back, I said. I've built a life here, jobs, clients, an apartment. I'm fine without you. After a long silence, he said, Mom and Dad want to talk. I'm done talking, I replied, hanging up and blocking the number. Over the next few months, they tried contacting me through new emails, numbers, even a letter to the diner. I ignored them all. After 7 months, I had enough clients to quit the diner and focus on design and the bookstore. Theo and I partnered on projects, him handling code, me design. You should register a business name, he said one evening. Make it official. The next day, I filed for New Horizon Design Studio. As my first year in Pine Ridge neared, I reflected on my transformation. The terrified girl abandoned at a gas station was now a business owner with friends and a community that valued her. Isabella hosted a party at the bookstore to mark the anniversary of my website redesign and my year in Pine Ridge. Surrounded by Anya and her son, Theo, Sophie, and bookstore regulars, I realized I'd built a chosen family based on respect, not shame. To new beginnings, Isabella toasted. And to finding home where you least expect it, I added. 2 years after the abandonment, I was in a Denver coffee shop for a client meeting when a familiar voice broke through. Myra, is that you? Lucas stood 3 feet away in a suit, shocked. I'm not lost, I said, closing my laptop. I chose to stay away. You look different, he said, eyeing my professional attire. I am different, I replied, sipping my coffee to steady my shaking hands. Why are you in Denver? Insurance conference. Dad and I present tomorrow. Myra, come home. This has gone on long enough. This isn't a standoff, I said. I have a business, clients, friends in Wyoming, the place you left me. You had your phone and money, he said dismissively. $50 and a dying phone, I shot back. You cut off my apartment. I had nothing. Lucas shifted uncomfortably. It got out of hand. We thought you'd be back in a week. When you didn't call, Dad thought you were staying with a friend, teaching us a lesson. You looked for me out of worry, I asked skeptically. Mom was sick with guilt, he said. She couldn't sleep. Funny, since she texted that abandoning me was tough love to make me grow up. Can we start over? He asked. The family misses you. Dad's retiring soon and wants to make things right. Make things right, I laughed. For a lifetime of humiliation and abandonment, how? Come visit, see everyone, he said. They haven't changed, Lucas. Neither have you, sitting here justifying leaving your sister stranded. My voice rose, drawing glances. Do you know what it felt like, standing in that parking lot, knowing my family threw me away? Seeing texts joking about my dinner while I wondered where I'd sleep. Keep it down, Lucas said, embarrassed. You're causing a scene. A scene, I stood, gathering my things. This is over. You can't just walk away, he said, grabbing my wrist. The family's worried. People think you had a breakdown, that you're homeless. I don't care what people think, I said, pulling free. I want a life without being mocked or controlled by those who claim to love me. You were always too sensitive, he shouted. We had to toughen you up. You crumble at the slightest critique. Critique. You call abandonment critique, I shot back. You call tormenting a scared girl toughening her up. If you don't come back willingly, I'll tell everyone you had a meltdown and ran away, he threatened. That you're hiding, dodging your dying father's reconciliation. Dad's dying, I asked, concern flickering. His hesitation told me the truth. Not exactly, he admitted. He's not well. You're lying again, I said, shaking my head. Goodbye, Lucas. As I left, he called after me. This isn't over, Mira. Your family deserves to know where you are. The encounter reopened old wounds but clarified one thing. I wasn't the one who needed to apologize. Lucas knew I was in Wyoming and could likely find Pine Ridge. I told Isabella about his threats, fearing my family might invade my new life. They can try, she said. This is your home. We've got your back. That afternoon, I shared my full story with Isabella, Theo, Anya, and others. If anyone asks about me, now you know the truth, I said. Those people sound toxic, Anya said, squeezing my hand. We won't let them near you if you don't want them. Their support strengthened me. I emailed my family, my first contact in 2 years. I'm safe and thriving. I've built a life free of your abuse. I don't want reconciliation or contact. If you try to interfere, I'll take legal action. This is final. I blocked their emails again. That night, I realized the encounter with Lucas had given me certainty. My family was unchanged, but I was stronger, able to walk away from toxic ties and build my own path. The next morning, I designed a new logo for New Horizon Design Studio, reflecting my personal and professional evolution. I wasn't defined by my past, but by what I'd created from it. 5 years after the abandonment, I stood in New Horizon Design Agency's expanded offices on Pine Ridge's Main Street. My team of 12 handled projects across 3 states. Our second-floor space in a historic building showcased our work on exposed brick walls, with windows overlooking my adopted hometown. The Denver client approved the designs, said Megan, my creative director. They want to discuss Phase 2 next month. Our third big contract this quarter, I said, proud. Let's brainstorm new services for them. Sam, my partner of 2 years, texted, dinner at 7, making your favorite pasta. We'd met when he visited pages and poems for local history books. Isabella introduced us, and our connection grew into love. Can't wait. Bringing dessert, I replied. At 33, my life felt authentic. Anya's son, Felix, called me Auntie Myra. Isabella was the mother I'd always wanted. Theo and I collaborated on projects, our skills complementing each other. Sam and I had bought a craftsman home with a studio and a fledgling garden. Closing the office one evening, I answered an unknown number, expecting a client. Is this Myra Reynolds of New Horizon Design? A woman asked. Yes, how can I help? I'm Jennifer Atkins, editor at Business West. We're featuring women entrepreneurs who have built successful businesses in unlikely places. Your agency came up repeatedly in our research. 3 months later, a 4-page spread showcased our office, team, and my journey, omitting the abandonment, but highlighting how I arrived in Pine Ridge with nothing and built something meaningful through grit and community. 2 weeks after the magazine's release, my family's emails began. Subject lines like "We need to talk" and "Saw your article" piled up. I deleted them unread. My office manager followed my instructions. Miss Reynolds doesn't take personal calls from these numbers. But my mother was persistent. One Tuesday, Clara Reynolds sat in our reception area, looking older but polished. "Myra," she said, standing. "How did you find me?" "The magazine listed your business address," she said, eyeing my confident demeanor. "You look well." "I am," I said evenly. "Why are you here? Can we talk privately?" Curiosity outweighed fear. What could she say now? "My office," I said, leading her past curious staff. "This is impressive," she said, noting my awards in view. "The article didn't do it justice." "Thanks, but you didn't come to admire my office," I said. She fidgeted. "We've been looking for you for years. After Lucas saw you in Denver, your father hired a detective, but you were hard to track." "I wasn't hiding," I said. "I was living." "We made a terrible mistake," she said, tears welling. "A stupid prank went too far, and pride kept us from admitting it. You were gone before we realized the damage." "It wasn't just the abandonment," I said. "It was years of cruelty masked as humor, a family dynamic where I was always the target." "I know," she said, dabbing her eyes. "Your father won't admit it, but seeing your success in that magazine forced us to confront what we did, not just that day, but your whole life." "What do you want, Mom?" "Forgiveness. A reunion. A chance to know the woman you've become," she said. "A chance to do better." Her remorse seemed genuine, unlike the manipulation of the past. "Too much has happened," I said. "I can't let you back in. My life is full of people who value me. That has to be enough." She nodded slowly. "Your brothers want to see you, your father too, though he won't ask." "I'm not ready," I said. "I may never be." "And that's okay." She left, pausing at the door. "Myra, you were always the strongest. We saw it only after we lost you." I sat at my desk, processing. There was no tearful reconciliation, just an acknowledgement that the past couldn't be erased. That evening, I told Sam about the visit. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Calm," I said. "They shaped me for so long. Today I closed that chapter. I'm not their abandoned daughter anymore, just Myra, business owner, partner, friend." The next day, I emailed my mother a single photo of me with my team outside our office. No invitation, no promises, just proof of my life. It was enough. 16 years after the gas station, I opened a certified letter in my kitchen, heart racing. It was from a law firm representing my parents' estate. "Reynolds Insurance Group has been sold," it read. "Your parents directed that the proceeds be divided equally among their 3 children." My legs gave out as I sat, the weight of their final act sinking in. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.